currency, streams of income, cash flow, liquid assets. Why is money associated with water terms? Well, I'm 80% water. Am I the real money? The true currency? Come out of hiding ancient wisdom. I'm ready to see what true abundance is, that I've been misinformed and hidden from. I am abundant. I'm immeasurable. My worth is beyond modern day comprehension. I'm healed from and so done with scarcity thinking. It doesn't belong to my mind. My worthiness is inherited. I don't have to earn it. I know driven behavior towards money overheats the mind with compulsion. I ain't doing that no more. I relax myself when I'm being tested in my initiation into flow and love. I call forth all the blessings that belong to me from the north, the south, east, and west. Pull up. It's all coming out of hiding, so I walk into the very existence of I am, full of opulence, luxury, infinite value, and vibrational drip.
Real.
Drip. Drip.
Hey.
Vibrational drip. My birth is authenticated. I won't be owned by dark systems. I am a brilliant divine DNA that flows in my body, not Russian in race. My birthright is freedom. I am cash flow, liberated to a sovereign status. See, what I gotta know and own is that I am being trustworthy with cash flow and my energetic wealth. With divine support, I am searching my heart for any selfish ambition, pride, greed, and smoke and mirror endeavors. Flush it out of me, Most High. I'm a wave all by myself. Calm steady. My time and energy are currency. There is no top.
That is Tony Jones, and the name of that joint is Currency. And I love when she says, I am 80% water, so does that make me currency? I love it. I love it. All right, guys, I have another video for you. And so I've inundated you guys today. And I'm just giving you something to think about. Some of you will just have to go back and watch these later. I realize that you can't sit and watch all of my videos, but I got them here, and you know they're here. You should check your notifications bell. They do turn it off. They've turned mine off recently on some folks, I noticed. You should also check whether you're even subscribed. If you got this from somebody else or something, you're probably not even subscribed. But this just came out recently on Vice News. This is why I say we can't hide. If you're on my IG, you saw me do a video this morning. We can't hide. Stay tuned. I have another video for you on tomorrow. This one's going to be a full video. Actually, I may do it in 2 parts. It's Bobby Hemmett, and most of his stuff goes an hour. He inundates us with information. I can't get enough of it, but I know some people can't handle it all, but that's because you may not have ever heard it all. So I'm going to back up a little bit here so that you can see this whole video, and then let's have a discussion on it. By the way, YouTube has blocked one of my videos claiming copyright, and this person owns their own copyright. So I'm gonna have to go appeal it again. This is how they help to censor us. If you don't pay attention, you don't know what to do, they will censor you.
Pegasus can do things on your phone that you can't even do.
It can activate any function on your phone. It completely mirrors it.
Amnesty International reports a massive leak of 50,000 phone numbers.
I think what the project is showing is the breadth and the scale of the abuse.
At the center of the probe is the Pegasus spyware.
It can look for your cameras. It can also take pictures.
It accesses your messages, your history.
It can listen to what you say and can also record you.
So yeah, Pegasus is pretty terrifying.
So what is Pegasus? It's a software created by an Israeli company called NSO Group, and the company says it's designed to track terrorists.
Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi journalist, was murdered. Several of the people that he was in touch with were surveyed by Pegasus. That should stop everyone and make us think. Cyber weapons are weapons. People get killed.
You do realize that Black Americans who speak the truth about whatever is going on in this country are the new terrorists for America. We are the domestic terrorists, is what they've been saying. Okay. They'll mention some of the white nationalist groups, but they never do anything. I don't think they do. They should have, because Timothy McVeigh was their wake-up call.
My name is Eyal Weitzman. I am the Director of Forensic Architecture and also a professor at Goldsmiths.
I'm Shuri Molavi. I'm the lead Israel-Palestine researcher at Forensic Architecture.
People think of architecture as simply the design of objects and spaces, but architecture is a very useful tool in actually mapping human rights violations that are caught on camera.
We use spatial and media methodologies and technologies to investigate state and corporate violence.
We investigate police forces, we investigate the military, we investigate sometimes secret services.
Architects and artists, scholars, researchers, designers, developers, working together on a single investigation.
We worked very often on Israeli colonial violence in Palestine.
Until now, that has mainly involved things like checkpoints, roadblocks, military and police violence against Palestinians.
Today, contemporary colonialism is also digital. You need to control people.
And this is where the NSO group comes in.
The NSO group is an Israeli cyber surveillance company. It has emerged in a context of a whole ecosystem that emerged out of Israeli state surveillance of Palestinians.
The problem with Pegasus is that we don't know a lot of information. What we know is that the hack will either come in the form of a one-click hack, which means that you get a message on your phone, you click on that message, and then your phone is hacked, or it comes in the form of a zero-click. And this is where the missed call on your phone is able to hack your phone.
Later version of Pegasus, they just send you a message, and the message carries the malware. This is called a WhatsApp hack. The NSO found vulnerability within WhatsApp and used the software to actually as a doorway into people's phones.
Pegasus is sort of setting the stage for the new terrain of warfare against activists and civil society groups around the world.
Pegasus was on our radar for 3-4 years. We first heard about Pegasus when we were invited to investigate the 2014 disappearance of the students of Ayotzinapa. They've entered the town of Iguala and disappeared there.
Los 43 alumnos de magisterio desaparecieron en Iguala Guerrero el 26 de septiembre de 2014, cuando fueron secuestrados por policías municipales que los entregaron a un grupo del crimen organizado. Sin muchas evidencias de que autoridades de todos los niveles del gobierno obstruyeron la justicia.
We collected enormous amount of information about that act of disappearance. Videos, photographs, phone calls, CCTV camera footage.
There's evidence, according to our investigation, that there was state collusion and state involvement in that disappearance.
That was an extremely controversial case in Mexico, exposing huge level of state complicity.
When reporters like Carmen Aristegui begins to report on it, or lawyers like Centro Pro try to hold the state accountable in a petition, they become targets of the state. And it's exactly these people who were targeted by Pegasus.
We understood that the state is very interested in our investigation, that it felt threatened by what we were discovering. We knew personally many of the people that were on that list, and we understood that we needed to act.
our friends and our collaborators were targeted by Pegasus. So naturally, we started to use our own skill sets.
And what we could do was actually use the sort of open source ethos of forensic architecture.
So open source investigation is looking at everything that's in the public domain, everything that is posted, everything that is mentioned, that is accessible to us publicly.
Each story and each target of NSO was reported on in isolation.
We started to look at every report and article, account of hacking that we could find.
So by collecting information from India and Rwanda, from Palestine and from Mexico, putting them together
in a platform, a 3D interactive space that allows you to see physical violence, digital violence, corporate transactions, exposures of hacks, and contextual events.
Our ethos of open source investigation allows us to gain another insight.
NSO has gone on a PR campaign to talk about why Pegasus is significant, why it's important for governments to have access to Pegasus. And a large part of the discussion is anti-terror.
Now, what we've found in this process, that the people that were most interesting for those repressive regimes were actually investigators.
These are journalists, activists, opposition figures, religious figures, dissenters, people living in exile, community organizers, far from what anyone would imagine a so-called terrorist to be.
Knowing that you are targeted extract a huge psychological toll on you. Perhaps do not want to speak to people because you don't want to compromise them, so you stop communicating. Pegasus cuts the network of practice that confronts state crimes.
I've spent the past year and a half talking to over a dozen targets of Pegasus. So these are people who had experiences with arrests and imprisonment. And yet, when they were describing their experience of hacking, some were close to tears. They were talking about nightmares, psychological distress, emotional distress. Our project is really a way to push back at this attempt by states to cut those networks.
I think people connect to this story intuitively because everyone now has a smartphone. And when your smartphone becomes a surveillance device, people are terrified, and they're justifiably terrified.
It's terrifying some of the strongest people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Pegasus is so advanced that it's very difficult to capture all of the instances of hacking. Now, we collected this information knowing that it's only a fraction of what the actual hacks are. With this limited data set, we're still able to determine patterns and relations of how digital violence works. And in determining patterns and relations, you're also able to tell a story. That, of course, the terrain of warfare in Mexico is very different than the terrain of warfare.
So y'all got to hear a lot of this video without me interrupting it. I'm going to interrupt it now. And I'm going to remind you that we were told that the next war would be fought on the internet. And the war is not against anyone else. It's against all the people. Who are these people, man? Who are these people? They don't behave like a human being. Now, y'all listen to what I just said. I'm going to repeat it for you. These people don't behave like human beings. They don't. I've heard, I'm going to get on my Telegram and say this other stuff because YouTube do so much. By the way, if you caught my last video, there go those numbers again, 833. That's where I stopped at on this video. If you haven't heard, Facebook and Instagram are both down. Don't know why, but they're down. They stay down. Join Soul Journey of Life. SOUL, Journey of Life. Look it up on your browser, download the app, or not, you can just go to the website and get on. Create an account. It is not censored at all. I guarantee it. Say what you need to say. There will be no harmful content. You will get put out. When I say harmful, you're not going to threaten people. You're not going to be ugly towards people. If somebody has an opinion, it's their opinion, and you can give your opinion. But if you're wrong, you're wrong. We're not going to beat up on folk over there. I'm also on Telegram. That one does not seem to be censored. Let's go.
In Saudi Arabia. But when you place them alongside each other, you realize that physical and digital operate in very similar ways in both of these spaces.
When we launched that project, we had people from all over the world speak about their experience. Mexicans with Rwandans, Palestinians with Emiratis. People from all over the world actually joined by being targeted by this malware.
And happily, I mean, if there's one thing that I'm walking away from with this project, is that it is a failed project on behalf of the state. People are not silencing. If anything, they are becoming more empowered, more organized, angrier.
Standing up and saying, we continue our work, we continue resisting, we will call our states to account, and we are not afraid.
We are creating networks to push back against all of that silencing and cutting that software like Pegasus does.
Okay, that's the video. I'm going to go back and reiterate what I've said on some of my previous videos. And that is, this is difficult for me because it's frustrating, but I'm happy. I'm very happy that people are speaking out and not afraid. As this video said, there's some very powerful people who are afraid of the system. But there are some countries who are not subscribing to this. Puerto Rico has disassociated itself from the Western association that it had, which was the US. They're no longer annexed. When they were ordered, the military was ordered to commit violence on the people who were protesting in the streets. The military and the police, I don't know about their military, but their police laid down their guns and joined the people because they were right. And this was not about COVID. This is about human rights violations. The same thing has happened in Venezuela. The people took over and removed the Western installed president. As we are learning, Haiti was also a Western installed president. And when he decided to join the side of the people so that he could hold on to his political office in the vote, because he really didn't win that vote, but he was trying to get reelected. And he had actually overstayed his election to term, trying to hold on to it. And he was murdered because the US, he wanted to do something different with COVID. He didn't want what he was told because he was installed. I'm not gonna go any further than that, but many countries around the globe, even South Africa, I forgot to mention them, they're not the only ones. There are plenty of countries. Zimbabwe did it. They didn't do so well. Their infrastructure is not there and their skill set is not there. That is not the case with Black America. Our skill set is here. Our infrastructure is here. We gotta want it. So you have these people who are doing what they're doing to try to maintain control, power, and all power belongs to the people. The only problem we're having is getting the word out, and they are stopping it. Open roads to success, prosperity, safety, protection, in our endeavors to be free.